After a long day where Jesus had fed more than 5,000 people with just 5 loaves and 2 fish, he told his disciples to get into the boat and go ahead of him to the other side of the lake. The crowd was still murmuring in amazement, but Jesus went up alone into the mountains to pray. As night fell, the disciples rowed into the deep waters of the Sea of Galilee. The sea was familiar to them, but this night was different. The wind began to howl, and the waves grew fierce. The boat rocked violently as the disciples struggled against the storm. Hours passed. Their arms ached from rowing. Their hearts pounded with fear, and hope seemed far away. Then, in the darkest part of the night, just before dawn, they saw something that shook them to their core. Out on the water, through the mist and crashing waves, a figure was walking toward them. Their first thought wasn't of comfort, but of terror. "It's a ghost!" they cried out in fear. But then a familiar voice pierced through the storm. "Take courage! It is I. Don't be afraid." It was Jesus. The storm hadn't stopped. The waves hadn't calmed. But suddenly there was peace in hearing his voice. Peter, the boldest of them all, did something no one else dared to do. His heart raced, but faith stirred within him. He called out, "Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come to you on the water." And Jesus simply said, "Come." Those words carried power. With trembling steps, Peter climbed over the edge of the boat. For a moment, time stood still. His feet touched the raging water, yet he did not sink. The impossible was happening. He was walking on water, his eyes fixed firmly on Jesus. Step by step, faith carried him above the storm. But then the wind howled louder, and the waves rose higher. Peter glanced away from Jesus and looked at the storm around him. Doubt flooded in. Fear replaced faith. And suddenly he began to sink. Panic filled his lungs as he cried out, "Lord, save me!" Immediately, without hesitation, Jesus stretched out his hand and caught him. There was no delay, no rejection, no anger. Only love and correction as he lifted Peter up and said, "You of little faith, why did you doubt?" Together, they climbed back into the boat. And as soon as Jesus stepped inside, the wind ceased, the storm calmed, and the waters became still. The disciples stared in awe. The fear that once gripped them turned into worship. They fell to their knees and declared, "Truly, you are the Son of God." This story isn't just about Peter. It's about us. Life is full of storms, challenges, fears, doubts, and situations that feel impossible. But when our eyes are fixed on Jesus, we can rise above the waves. Faith keeps us standing when everything around us says we should sink. And even when we falter, when fear gets the better of us, Jesus is still there, immediately reaching out, ready to catch us, ready to save us. The disciples began that night terrified of the storm, but they ended it worshiping Jesus. Sometimes, the storms we fear the most become the very stage where God reveals his power. So remember this. Keep your eyes on Jesus. Step out in faith. And when you stumble, don't give up. Cry out to him, because he will always be there to lift you up.